This is all right. So we want to break in with a bit of breaking news. So we just got word from NBC News. Shots were fired at an event for right-wing activist Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. That's according to a statement from the university. So this is what NBC News has on their website right now. Kirk was removed from the premises by a security team. That's according to the school. So I want to go all the way down to the bottom of the article and what we're getting. Oh, so there says there's new updates. Okay. So here's what we have so far. I'll start from the bottom. So Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk was about 20 minutes into a presentation with witnesses heard shots fired from a nearby building. A spokesperson for Utah Valley University told NBC. The spokesperson said, to the best of the university's knowledge, Kirk was hit and taken with his security team away from the premises, and the courtyard was cleared. Reading, a spokesperson for Utah Valley University said that Kirk was the sole person shot at the event. Again, this is all being reported from NBC News. Kirk was being hosted by the Utah Valley University chapter of Turning Point USA. And so we have been scrolling to get more information, more video. And so until we verify some of this video, I'm just going to kind of describe what I'm seeing right now. It looks like from what I'm seeing, Kirk was under a tent in front of a crowd when it appears that he was shot, and he leans back, and then the video goes a different direction. The camera goes a different direction. And then there's another video vantage point of people sort of dispersing, running throughout the courtyard area. FBI Director Kash Patel, here it is on your screen, posting this on X. He posted, "We are closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response."
We also have a statement now from the vice president that I can put on the screen. Here it is.
All right, so here's what Vice President J.D. Vance has posted on X. Say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, a genuinely good guy and a young father. It's a short statement there from Vice President J.D. Vance. So again, from what I could see from the video, again, we want to vet this video. That's why we're not playing it, and we want to make sure it is the right video. Well, we know it's the right video. We just want to make sure we get it cleared through our channels. But Kirk was under a tent in front of a crowd when when the shooting happens, he leans back as he was shot. And then you see some more video of the crowd just running away, dispersing throughout the courtyard. Again, if you're just joining us, and I'm just sort of updating what I have right now.
Yeah, we're reviewing that video that you were just talking about. We're also getting a live look at the scene right now, Nick, from our affiliate out there.
Okay. Do we want to toss it?
Yeah, let's take a listen to this.
Okay.
I am tracking the situation at Utah Valley University closely. Please join me in praying for Charlie.
I think we're just waiting for the audio to clear up here. Just 1 second, Nick.
Oh, if you just joined us, I just want to reiterate, Charlie Kirk, according to NBC, shot during an event at Utah Valley University. All right, so we're good to go. Let's send it to our affiliate there in Salt Lake City. Let's take a listen.
He's an American right-wing political activist, an author, a media personality. There was a lot of attention given toward this particular speech.
Yeah. It sounds like we are getting some witness accounts that we want to make sure that you're aware of. Are we going to...
We have Jason. He's a former officer. He's joining us on the phone. He was just 5 feet away from this event when it happened. Jason, thank you. Obviously, you have a professional eye on a situation like this as well. Were you working today or just there to observe?
No, I was just there to have fun and immerse myself in Mr. Kirk's dialogue. I had retired from the law enforcement back in June. I was just there having fun.
Yeah, describe to us what you saw.
Well, after the first speaker, there was somebody that came up. I forgot what she was asking about, and about halfway through her first her first question, I heard a shot come out, and I looked directly over at Charlie, and he kind of fell backwards into the chair, and just all of this Secret Service guy, I don't know if they're Secret Service or whatever, they all climbed on top of him and rushed him out. And then I started doing gang control. I was like, hey, get out of here, get out. You guys got to get out of here.
Your instincts kicked in, no doubt. So he wasn't speaking.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk wasn't speaking, but was seated on the stage.
He was seating on the stage at the time the shot rang out, yes.
So, Jason, with your background in law enforcement, tell us what you noticed as far as the law enforcement presence there. Did it seem like there was heightened security?
They had a lot of security people. They had undercovers in the audience that I saw after the fact. They had their weapons drawn, looking for a suspect and stuff like that. He obviously had his own security detail, but as far as uniform officers, yeah, I was talking to some of them underneath the bridge there, where Charlie Kirk was coming out. I was talking to some of them, and yeah, it looked pretty safe to me.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned your instincts kind of jumping in, and your sharp eye took in a lot. We're seeing video now of a suspect who was arrested. It would appear that happened fairly quickly. Can you describe what happened after those shots rang out?
So there was only one shot that I heard, the one shot, and I did see that same guy in a blue shirt in handcuffs over by the was it the north side of the complex where it was. So I did see that same guy in custody. I don't know if that was a shooter or not, but it sounded like the shooter was pretty close to the front row.
Yeah. How would you describe the mood prior to that shot?
Oh, the mood prior? Before everything happened, it was absolutely amazing. The crowd was very cheerful, very positive. It was doing just like a normal Charlie Kirk rally.
Yeah.
Have you attended one before?
It started off on a good foot. We had the first person come in and talk and did very well, and then they moved on, and then the second person came in, and that's when the shot rang out.
Jason, had you attended any one of his events before? Any of his speeches before?
No, I had tried to get in one time, but I had missed it. So, no, this was the first Charlie Kirk one that I've been to.
Well, Jason, we appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on the line with us. That's Jason, a retired law enforcement officer who was there as just a spectator taking in this Charlie Kirk speech, this event at Utah Valley University. And you can see through these social media videos just how quickly it became a chaotic scene.
Vice President J.D. Vance reacted to the shooting by posting on X, quote, "Say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, a genuinely good guy and a young father."
Charlie Kirk is a 31-year-old American right-wing political activist. He's an author. He's a media personality. And there was a lot of attention around this speech and this event. This video is the newest that we've seen. Of course, social media being flooded right now with different accounts and videos. But this shows the man in the blue shirt that you heard Jason describe that was taken into custody, it would appear fairly quickly, and escorted off by a group of officers.
And Jason had mentioned that he heard at least one shot, but prior to that shot, he says it was, not a lot of really going on, nothing that would lead him to believe something of this magnitude would happen. This was his first time attending this type of event. In speaking to our prior caller, someone who was there, Taylor, he said about 2,000 to 3,000 people were there. And then as we saw from video there, things got very chaotic.
We're now receiving confirmation that Charlie Kirk was the individual shot at this event at Utah Valley University today. Turning Point USA confirming that is a company owned by Charlie Kirk, so we can take that as reputable information. It's what everyone assumed. Now we can confirm. We don't have an exact timeline. Obviously, this is just unfolding in the moment. However, we're told that the shot rang out during the first speech. Charlie Kirk himself had not even taken the podium. He was seated on the stage, and someone was introducing him when that shot went out.
Folks who are just now tuning in here to Live Impact News, Vanessa Rufus here in the studio taking over for anchor Nick Sturdivant. As you've been seeing over the last several moments, we've been listening into coverage from our affiliate in Utah as conservative activist Charlie Kirk has reportedly been shot while attending an event. We are going to keep an eye on our feeds here and make sure that we're gathering more information. But in the meantime, we'll be listening into this continuous coverage once again from our affiliate in Utah. We'll jump back in with any big and breaking developments.
He was, in fact, the person shot at Utah Valley University today.
The video you're seeing, of course, is very chaotic, but prior to this, spectators describe it as a fairly calm event. There were a couple of pockets of people that were shouting out at various points during the event, but other than that, it was a fairly calm scene. Police presence was heavy. It was expected to have kind of a high scrutiny, a high visibility, this type of event, and then certainly the speaker. So there was police presence, and also Charlie Kirk. We've been told it was assumed he brought his own security detail as well. But prior to this moment, things were going quite smoothly.
And it looks like we have another witness on the phone with us who was there. Jeff Johnson, I understand you are a faculty member there at Utah Valley University. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Jeff, thanks for joining us. Give us a perspective. What exactly happened? What can you tell us? Describe those moments.
Yeah, so we were kind of up above them in a similar location to where some of the videos that are circling around are from. And there was just a really loud boom, loud enough that, I still got ringing in my ear and feel a little bit deaf in that ear. But I thought it might have been a firework. It was that loud. So people started scrambling, running around. I was kind of looking around for smoke. And it wasn't until I looked down and I saw them on top of Charlie Kirk that I kind of realized what was happening, and was able to see them pick him up and carry him out by his limbs. So at that point, kind of realized what was going on, and we got out of there. It seemed like undercover officers started kind of revealing themselves and telling us to get out of the area. But that was kind of it. It took about, unfortunately, like 30 minutes to get any notification from the school to get out of there, and about 45 minutes before they told us to get off of campus. But that's kind of what's happened from my perspective.
Yeah, the area had already cleared, I imagine, long before that. As a faculty member there, can you tell us about the temperament toward this event? It had received a lot of attention. What was the vibe going into this particular speech?
It seemed overly supportive. Most of the people around him, it's kind of a closed-off area, little amphitheater, and everybody kind of in the amphitheater seemed really supportive. There was a group of protesters up above him and to his right, not in the area that the shot came from. And they would say things and boo here and there, but overall it seemed very supportive of what was going on.
And with the tiers, the levels, when events are held out here, obviously this was a big crowd, but are they typically occupying those balconies and those enclaves?
I've not personally seen anything to this scale before, so I wouldn't be able to relate it to anything.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we appreciate your insight, Jeff. Thank you so much for joining us and jumping on with us for our call. We are getting some more witness accounts of folks who were there on scene. Can you tell me the name of the caller, please? Okay.
We don't have a caller at the moment, Tamara.
I do want to mention, though, Brooke, I'm just reading this now. President Trump has just addressed the shooting on his social media site, Truth Social, saying, quote, "We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him."
We're hearing a number of reactions like that on social media. The latest from President Trump, as Tamara said. J.D. Vance also responded. Some of our local leaders responding as well. It was a very chaotic scene, as you're seeing, and social media reacting real time. There were upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 people there, is the best estimate we can get from those on the ground. And all of those people flooding social media with their experiences, their pictures, and their videos.
Yeah, and based on one witness account, we understand there was a speaker that had just gone out. Charlie Kirk hadn't even spoken yet. And so we're taking a look right now on your screen here. We're getting more video of Utah Valley University at this speaking event right before the shooting. One witness had just told us on the phone here that he heard one shot rang out, almost as if it was a loud boom, a firework, a firecracker.
Response was immediate. Charlie Kirk did hit the ground, we're told, and security detail appeared to immediately protect him, climb on top of him, and you imagine how quickly people then scattered just as a result of that single shot, that single sound. But we're told the police presence was quite significant, both uniformed police officers, but also those who jumped into action after this particular event, helping to clear the area, helping to get people to safety. So the response itself seems to be pretty quick.
Yeah, an earlier video showed too that there was a person that has been arrested that was being escorted. We haven't gotten confirmation that a suspect suspect is in custody, but that's the part of the video that we have been seeing, that someone, in fact, has been arrested.
Yeah, we have told the suspect was in custody, and we're seeing now the video there of the man in the blue shirt. And spectators say that attention immediately went to this individual. Obviously, it's hard in a situation like that with a crowd of that size to determine where certain sounds come from or how those sounds reverberate or bounce around the area. But one individual we talked to, Jason, he was a retired law enforcement officer, so he had a sensibility that was quite heightened in unusual ways because of his law enforcement training. He noticed police officers immediately, he said, going toward this individual in the blue shirt, and he was shortly thereafter led off the campus.
Well, this is a breaking news situation, so we are getting information pouring in as well as video of what you're seeing here. We do want to talk to another witness that was there at Utah Valley University to get her account. Can you tell us your name, please?
Hi, my name's Haley Westmoreland. I'm here with Mia Callister. We were both at the school with the shooting.
Okay, Haley and Mia?
Taylor, yes.
Haley, can you tell us what did you see and what did you hear? What happened?
So we ended up getting there late, and we were coming in behind where he was speaking. And so in some of the videos, you can see that building, and that's where we were. And we just had walked in and heard the shot, and everyone turned, and they just started running and screaming. They were just screaming, shooter, shooter, run. People were crying, and...
Can you kind of describe what the mood was like there before you heard those shots, before things broke out?
It was so mellow, and then as we were walking out the door so mellow, you could just hear the gunshot, and automatically hundreds of kids were running, screaming, shooter, shooter, run, run, run. And as you ran through the halls, every single person just started running. You could feel it. They were crying.
We are here live.
So people scattered both inside buildings and outside, just trying to clear the area as quickly as possible.
Yeah. There were just crowds of people trying to get out as fast as they could.
Well, Taylor and Mia, thank you so much for sharing your account. We're glad you're safe, and we appreciate you sharing your experience with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We can now confirm Charlie Kirk was the individual shot on UVU campus. It was a highly promoted speech that was scheduled for this morning. Charlie Kirk, of course, an American right-wing political activist. He's an author. He's a media personality. You can see now from this UDOT camera the congestion of traffic as people obviously try to leave the area. It cleared pretty quickly, obviously, after that happened, but now cars and vehicles backed up a little bit on University Parkway as people try to leave that scene.
Yeah, this was a highly publicized event. A lot of people aware that this was going to be going on. A lot of fans of Charlie Kirk who were using this as an opportunity to see him for the first time. From witnesses, they told us about 2,000 to 3,000 people were in attendance there. We know Utah Valley University homed about 46,000 students there at the time as well. And so we're getting information streaming in. Again, we can tell you that a suspect is in custody. As far as Charlie Kirk's condition, we have not been given any details or confirmation on the status of his health.
A really unique venue and potentially a tricky one for law enforcement or security, where you're in an outdoor setting, and it was set up in sort of, it appeared to be a semicircular shape pointed toward a tent where Charlie Kirk was seated. He hadn't yet taken the podium. He was being introduced. The first speaker of the morning had stepped up, was introducing, I think someone said even asking an opening question, and Charlie Kirk at the time was seated underneath a canopy shaded just to the left of that podium when that shot was fired. KSL reporter Alex Cabrero is en route to Utah Valley University. He also is tracking the updated information and also the feedback as it rolls out. Alex, what can you tell us?
Just about to UVU campus right now, but I got to tell you, it is, as expected, it is absolute chaos here. There are cars coming out. It is almost a parking lot on the roads. They're trying to orderly get people to leave, at least where we can see. But there are also a lot of people who are trying to make their way onto campus as well, just to be a part of this, to see this or witness this or be there, because Charlie Kirk is such a large presence, has a lot of fans. And so we're just in the middle of that right now, trying to make our way into the area where we can at least start reporting on television.
It's interesting, Alex, because social media obviously reporting real time and seeing the videos that are being posted, you can feel the chaos. You're now experiencing the aftermath of that chaos with the traffic congestion as people try to leave campus, and political leaders responding really quickly in support of Charlie Kirk, sending prayers, President Trump, J.D. Vance, local leaders as well. But we don't have a current update on the condition of Charlie Kirk.
That's right, yeah, and I haven't heard anything myself either, and I haven't seen any of those videos yet myself. We were down at another event in the Pacey-Santaquin area when we got the word, from our news desk about what happened and to try to get there as quickly as we could. So I'm still catching up on the information that has been released at this point, but it's a sad day. No matter which side you're on, no matter which side you believe,
Yeah,
we're working on that right now. We're getting close, and somebody's trying to talk to me.
You're okay, Alex. Okay, I have to go.
Yep, we should be able to get on television here pretty quickly.
Thank you, Alex. We'll look forward to your on-the-ground report here momentarily. That's Alex Cabrero on his way to the campus of Utah Valley University, where Utah now becomes a central focus as the world, the nation watches this situation unfold. We've talked about the attention this particular event had received, although those on the ground tell us and have been telling us all afternoon that the mood was very calm and peaceful prior to what you're seeing now through these social media events. There were a few pockets of protesters. One bystander identified the location of those bystanders as being elevated as in up a level, looking down on this crowd. It's an outdoor venue kind of centralized to the campus, and estimations put the crowd at 2,000 to 3,000 people. So it was packed. It was a really full area, full venue, and relatively calm until this very moment.
Charlie Kirk, a popular political activist, just to give you some background on him, 31-year-old conservative activist, father of two. He helped found Turning Point USA. That's a nonprofit that deals with conservative youth on school campuses. He is well known among at least traveling to college campuses across the country. A well-known supporter of President Donald Trump, a close ally of many in his circle. In fact, he spoke at the 2024 presidential convention just days after an attempted assassination attempt on Trump. And as we just heard from President Trump, who's also offering his condolences as well.
Yes, political leaders taking to social media, Governor Spencer Cox among them. He's saying on X that he is tracking the situation. This is the comment that Tamara most recently mentioned coming in from President Trump. We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot, a great guy from top to bottom. God bless him.
Governor Spencer Cox also weighing in on X that he is being briefed on the situation, posting in part, quote, "Those responsible will be held fully accountable. Violence has no place in our public life." He goes on to say Americans of every political persuasion must unite in condemning this act. Our prayers are with Charlie, his family, and all those affected.
Details are limited, although we can tell you one person has been taken into custody. There's a very visible social media video of that individual being led off campus by a swarm of police officers and security individuals. That individual is wearing a blue shirt, and one bystander told us that right after the shot rang out, immediately attention went to that individual in the blue shirt. So it didn't take long, one would assume, for police to have him in custody.
And we know that KSL news specialist Alex Cabrero is on his way to the Utah Valley University campus, hopefully to get us another perspective a little bit closer to campus. But as we just saw from video, lots of cars there right now, pretty much a traffic jam. So as we mentioned, information, it is coming in as we're showing you another live picture there from our UDOT camera there, right off of University Parkway near the campus. It looks like traffic there at a standstill, but several emergency vehicles out there right now as we kind of piece together all of this information. Again, 31-year-old Charlie Kirk shot on the UVU campus earlier today.
This was a highly publicized event. There was some criticism. There was some concern about the crowd it may draw, but the crowd this afternoon was described as peaceful. You can see there that tent. That's Charlie Kirk seated beneath it, shaded from the noon sun, wearing that white T-shirt. He had not even spoken yet. He was being introduced or was preparing to speak, preparing to give his remarks when this happened. There was someone at the podium that had opened the event, that had set things in motion when a single shot, we're told, rang out, and the crowd quickly started to react and disperse. Someone telling us people ran inside buildings, near neighboring buildings, as of course you can see an outdoor venue there on the campus of Utah Valley University. So crowds scattering as quickly as they could to get to safety. Yeah, Brooke, you and I spoke to several witnesses that were there on the ground, just talking about, moments before they heard the shot. It was a fairly calm event, no, concern about safety whatsoever. Although we know, leading up to the event, it was very highly publicized. Estimation of about 2,000 to 3,000 people there on the ground. Yeah, bystanders described a couple of pockets of individuals. One identifying those individuals crying out or yelling out or shouting out as being positioned in the upper balconies. And you can see, this venue is so unique in that it's outdoors, obviously, so a vast kind of sprawling, there's not a defined perimeter, so to speak, but you can see pockets of people on the tiers, on the balconies, on the enclaves. Folks who are just joining us here on Live Impact News, Vanessa Rufus here. We've been listening in to continuous coverage from our affiliate in Utah. As you've just been hearing, conservative activist Charlie Kirk has been shot while appearing at an event at Utah Valley University. Reportedly about 20 minutes into his presentation there on campus, when gunshots were heard from a nearby building, Mr. Kirk was seen slumping over and blood dripping down his neck. We are unsure of his condition. However, we're told he was removed from the premises by his security team and the area was cleared. Still waiting, of course, for many other updates. We will continue to listen into this coverage from our affiliate, and we'll pop back in with any new details we might get on our end. Specialist Alex Cabrero is on his way there to the scene to Utah Valley University as well. We heard a couple bystanders immediately praising the reaction from law enforcement. And of course, our current climate demands a presence of security and attention to politically oriented events like this. But a couple different witnesses we spoke to praising the reaction of law enforcement on the ground. It took about 30 minutes, we were told, for UVU to officially send out a text or a notice to clear the campus, although at that point, of course, as you might imagine, people had cleared the area and it had been cleared for quite a while. We also heard from Vice President J.D. Vance as well, offering his condolences. We also heard from FBI Director Kash Patel, who, quote, said, "Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected." Patel also wrote on X that agents will be on scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation. So in addition to the local police enforcement who are there, as well as the private security detail of Mr. Kirk, the FBI is going to be investigating. It was Turning Point USA that first officially confirmed it was Charlie Kirk that had been shot. Of course, that was immediate suspicion, just based on the event and the featured prominence of this particular speaker. Charlie Kirk serves as the executive director of Turning Point USA, so his own company confirming about 20 minutes ago that he was shot. Bystanders telling us a single gunshot is all they heard, though they described it as a firework popping. Someone saying his ear was still ringing after hearing and experiencing that sound. Okay, we want to go right now to KSL's Alex Cabrero, who has made his way to Utah Valley University. Alex, what can you tell us right now?
That's right. Yeah, we just got here on campus to one of the parking lots, and as we mentioned just a little bit ago when we were talking to you over the phone, is that there were a lot of students and people trying to leave the area, a lot of students and people also trying to come in to be a part of this, just to kind of witness this for themselves, to be a part of this. Of course, Charlie Kirk, a very popular activist, a very popular speaker who's been going to campuses all across the country, encouraging debate on either side, on both sides, just trying to spread the message and the word of what he wants people to hear and hear kind of the other side of the story often. Join me here now is Brennan. He's one of the people who was here when all this happened. Now, Brennan is not a student here. He came all the way from Clearfield just to be a part of this and to see this. And Brennan, you were telling me you were right there when this happened.
Yeah, so it was pretty packed when I got here. It took me about 30 minutes just to find parking. When I finally got there were thousands of people, I would say. He was kind of like in a pit almost, and we were kind of gathered up like some stairs. I kind of moved my way closer. I was about 15 feet away. He was actually just talking about mass shootings too, which is crazy, with the trans shooting that just happened recently with the trans shooter. And as soon as he got done answering the question, we heard a loud pop. He got hit in the left side of his neck and dropped. We all dropped. His security dragged him out of there, and we just ran. So, you know, it's crazy.
I can't imagine. This is probably terrifying. You're there just to hear the debate, to be a part of this. You hear the shot. You said you hit the ground.
Yeah, obviously, because at first we didn't know what it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
Once we figured it out, I was more angry, I would say, than terrified. You know, we hear all the time that we're the problem, we're the violent ones, we're the issue, and yet this is the second mass, like, shooting attempt on a political figure. First Donald Trump, now we have Charlie Kirk, but yet we're the problem. I don't know of any mass shootings that happened with Joe Biden. I don't know any of Obama. I don't know of any of the Democratic side, and I'm not trying to be that guy, but like, we got to come together. This is ridiculous. Whether you believe what he says or not, like, we got to stop all this nonsense.
Right, and absolutely, and it's one of those things too. You know, no matter what side you're on, we should be able to have debate openly without the violence. No matter what side you're on, it's very charged. It's very political right now.
Exactly.
But I like what you said. We should come together. This needs to stop, no matter what side.
Right. Yeah, and I completely agree with that. You know, everything going on in the world, everything's so hostile now when it comes to political parties. Yeah. We got to stop all of this. You know, like I said, they blame us, we blame them. We got to stop and just come together. We got to stop having a political agenda and get them to turn us against each other like they are. And it's just what they want. We got to stop. Yeah. And because I wear the stuff I wear, people look at me like a bad person. But I think I'm a good person. I don't care what you believe. As long as you're a good person, that's all I care about.
Brandon, thank you so much for your time. Sorry, because it's chilling. When you see the videos, it's chilling. Sorry you saw this, but I know you're probably heading out and trying to figure out, you've been chatting with your friends, so it's just one of those things, just figuring out what next, Brandon.
Absolutely. We'll be all right.
Thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate you. So Brandon's story is one of several that we've been hearing just to hear the debate, to be a part of this, and was there when the shot came out, and you heard Brandon say he hit the deck, he hit the ground, not sure what it was or where it came from, but immediately we saw some videos of people just starting to run, and there are people just, there are students here. Mark, if you take a look at the traffic, this is just some of the traffic line we have of people just trying to get out of the area, but also come into the area. We've heard from UVU Public Safety and Orem Police to try to avoid the area if you can. There are some roadblocks in the area, but I mean, even just around here, just students milling around who were witnesses to this, trying to make sense of it, trying to come to terms with it. Whenever you deal with something, you know, like this, there's that adrenaline, and as it starts to go away, that adrenaline, you really do feel it.
All right, folks, we're going to break away from this coverage in Utah for just a moment because we've got another breaking story that we're following on the other side of the country. This is coming to us from Evergreen, Colorado. We're getting live aerial images of Evergreen High School where we're told at least 2 students have been shot. That is according to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. As we speak, those students are en route to the hospital. Looks like we don't have any updates on their conditions, but apparently there was a social media post that went out just before 1 o'clock local time there in Colorado saying that there were reports of an active assailant in the area of the high school. The emergency responders tweeting furthermore, quote, if you have children who attend the school, please do not go directly to the school as it is still an active scene. Sounds like there's a reunification center that has been set up at a nearby elementary school there in Evergreen. Once again, Evergreen High School in Evergreen, Colorado. Seeing live aerials right now as at least 2 students have been shot. Conditions unknown. They are on the way to the hospital. With that, we'll send you back to the continuous coverage underway in Utah as conservative activist Charlie Kirk has been shot. His condition unknown as well.
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yes.
We appreciate your time with us on this tragic day. We want to talk a little bit to you about the venue where this is taking place, Utah Valley University. Viewers are looking at the video right now of Mr. Kirk in the tent, as well as about 2,000 to 3,000 people. Can you kind of talk a little bit about the law enforcement side of things when dealing with an event like this in this type of venue?
Yeah, when you have an event like this, I mean, you're going to, pull in a lot of resources. There's a lot of pre-planning to go to keep not just, Charlie Kirk and his people safe, but everybody attending safe. And so I would imagine that with the pre-planning that went on with the university police, the Orem police, Utah County federal partners that may have also been involved with intelligence and securing the venue. I imagine that there was quite a bit of planning that went in to make sure that the entire day that he was on campus, everybody would be safe.
And Chris, one has to assume with an outdoor venue that provides some specific trickiness in terms of crowd containment and also security control.
It does, and it's one of those, again, going back to the planning, where the event is being held on campus. Are you securing the event, directly around him, or including the buildings and other, open spaces? Because it does become, tricky. We are, our public campuses. There are, rules with regards to firearms there, and people may be allowed to bring firearms on there. If you are locking the area down, specifically with magnetometers, that again adds another, layer of security. But again,
what do you mean by that?
How you want to do and how you want to secure the venue.
Chris, elaborate on that. What do you mean locking it down with what?
Well, in some cases, we have secure venues where we're not going to allow anybody into the specific areas, kind of those rings of security. We may, have magnetometers, and we may search bags and things like that as we get closer. But as you get further out, it may be a more open, movable. I mean, this is a campus. People are going to class. There's other things going on during the day that they may not want to interrupt for this one event.
That makes sense. And we've noted that a couple of bystanders who were on the ground level of this event, so in the grassy field just in front of the speaker's podium, they described kind of the chaos or the shouting out and ultimately the gunshot coming from upwards. Like there's levels that we're seeing here with different buildings and different balconies, and that just all goes into the complex planning that you described that's required for an outdoor venue like this.
Absolutely. When you have elevated positions around where the venue is being held, it becomes, again, that extra layer of security as to what you're going to do or not do in some cases. There's decisions made based on, the amount of personnel, the amount of money that you're going to spend, the amount of, in some ways, the amount of restricted egress and ingress of how people are going to move around. On campuses where we're believing in the First Amendment, we've also got, it's a public campus, so the Second Amendment may apply. We may not want to impede on students and visitors, moving around the campus. On the other hand, if this is an event that we're going to secure that area, again, you're going to move further out and people may be restricted in how they move, which then, impedes on, the educational process and impedes on people's daily learning. We're not locking the campus down for the entire day during this event, it sounds like.
And I find myself thinking there's really only so much you can plan. Like, as you described, the detailed planning that is just ultimately required in a climate like ours, in a day like ours, there's only so much you can forecast and can foresee. And all of those variables become, potential safety pain points that unfortunately we're seeing play out today.
I agree with that somewhat, but I also disagree. We are, with an event like this, I imagine that there was a lot of security planning going on, a lot of intelligence planning going on. You're right. We can't predict, what we used to refer to as black swan events, things that you just couldn't imagine happening, and you can't lock that down. But there are a lot of things that can be done when we have things that are predictable. Even if it doesn't happen often, it's, we do have great, and I always say this about, with the World Series and the Super Bowl and the Olympics, we have great people that are involved in those logistics and the planning and the security and the collaboration that goes on. And so a lot of that has been vetted out over the last 40 years, last 20 years in Utah, because we've had significant events. We have significant events every single year that are nationally, internationally attended.
And Chris, while we cannot speak to the specificity of this particular security plan or execution, is there a point of security that you would like to see implemented more often at events like this, or something that people maybe aren't employing as often that you think would help boost security in outdoor venues specifically?
I think that, one, retrospectively, we always know a lot after events happen, and we tend to respond to that need. And on the same time, we have a lot of lessons learned from the past, both here in Utah, nationally, internationally, that we put into practice. And I understand that we can't completely lock down, everything that, i.e. when the president comes to town, we lock down a lot. we keep those areas safe. That's probably not practical, with a situation with a guest speaker like him. But because of, the emotion going on, surrounding, again, Charlie Kirk and other people in similar on both sides, it does require us to be prepared and make sure that everything has been done. I do believe in this case that a lot of planning, a lot of bright-minded people in collaboration went into planning this. Retrospectively, we're going to know, how that was and if there were any gaps.
Chris, before we let you go, I just wanted to ask you, for folks who may be at home watching this right now unfold on TV, or perhaps even who live near Utah Valley University, what happens now as far as our local law enforcement in this investigation? What are the next steps when something of this magnitude happens right here at home?
Right. This is a significant investigation that's going to impact all of Utah. I imagine that this is going to be methodical. Both, I mentioned University Police, Orem Police, Utah County Sheriffs, they're probably neighboring agencies. Federal agencies such as ATF and the FBI will definitely be involved, determining what the intent or motive was of the people involved.